All right, good morning. Having a little bit of trouble this morning, so I'm going to try to keep going with it. But if I drop off, then I'll try to do a recording and post it into the Patreon and for the channel members if this doesn't work out. So let's go with it and see what happens. I am already dropping a ton of frames. All right. I really didn't have a whole lot to discuss today. Aaron wanted me to talk about the thing I talked about last week. I'm not sure if he watched last week's video or not, but inefficiencies. He's looking at the inefficiency up here and he's wondering if that's higher. So kind of in the form of like resistance, so to speak. But like there is no inefficiency here, right? Just because this wick low and this wick high isn't retesting one another, that doesn't mean that this zone is inefficient, because price had already traded in that area. And you can see this wick on this candle right here. If I draw this line over here on this, boom, you can see that wick right there traded right back up into that wick. So there is no inefficiency there at all. What is controlling price right now is the 618 retracement level. If we go back into maybe smaller time frames, we can find an can't hear anything. Can you guys hear me? Mic is on. Let me see if someone responds. Yeah, see, I'm dropping so many frames. I knew I before I even went live, I've already dropped 3,700 frames. Yeah, nobody's responded yet. Let me see here. Well, here, let me just do this. Okay, they said they can hear me. I'm gonna start recording this thing because it's chances are YouTube's gonna bounce me. So I'll just start recording it, and if it doesn't hold the stream, I'll keep going, and then I'll just upload that so that way you guys can get it. But anyways, back to what I was saying. This is what's holding price. If you pull that from the swing high of the all-time high all the way down here to the low, you can see that this is what's holding price so far. It is also weekend trading, and there's not as much volume that trades on the weekend. We know this. Yes, Bitcoin can make big moves on the weekend, but there's just not as much volume. So for anything, it needs to break out of this zone. This is why we kind of wait and see what happens. But as far as an inefficiency, there isn't one. Also, price trades every second. Every second of the day, there's orders coming in, right? Continuously. It never stops. So basically, for inefficiencies to happen, it's more or less, it needs to be in all-time highs or all-time lows. That's where the inefficiencies will come back into play. Like if you're at an all-time high, price has never traded there before. So if you get a massive 5-minute candle that just, goes up $1,000 or whatever in Bitcoin's case, then yes, chances are price is going to trade back down to close out any inefficiencies or any gaps that occurred during that time. So here's the 4-hour. All right, with the 4-hour, we can see over there, and then we'll come over here and let's see. Let's do it this way. Let me just put this on the wick high right there, all H, to get a line drawn from that high. Let's get rid of these two areas, these two levels here, and let's scroll over and see. And as you can see, there is a resistance here, right? There is a 4-hour resistance level right there. So this is what's holding price. This was a 4-hour bull trap as well. There was resistance there. That was resistance until you traded up to it, and then you traded through it. This closure basically told people that, yes, Bitcoin is bullish. We just got to close above old resistance, so we are probably heading higher. Then what occurred was the very next 4-hour candle traded straight down, closing at or a little bit above the low of this previous bullish candle. That is a bull trap, right? Whenever you have a break and hold of resistance, or break and close above resistance, and then the very next candle reverses and is a bearish engulfing or an outside reversal pattern, which just means it's bigger than the previous candle, that's a trap, right? So at that point in time, if you had taken this long and you had a wide stop loss and you didn't get stopped out on that reversal, you could have simply just exited the trade and waited for Bitcoin to trade back up into the supply zone, which would have been this 4-hour candle, right? The body of the 4-hour candle. I am working on a supply and demand video. It's just going to take me a long time to get it out because I'm not a slick editor yet. So I don't know how to do any cool editing stuff, but I'm working on it. I just want it to be a little bit entertaining. So we're going to, as soon as that's done, I'll put it out. But here is your supply zone, right? That was that bear trap or bull trap. This is your entry here. Boom. But if we simply put a line back on that resistance level, because every bullish close has the potential to be resistance, we go back over that top line. That's that 4-hour resistance, and you can see that price hasn't traded up to it yet. So the argument could be made, right? It could be made that it's not even a 618 retracement level. The argument could be as simple as that 4-hour resistance is holding price. So, and the same goes for Ethereum. Let's go over here to Ethereum. This is how crucial and how important learning correct support and resistance levels are. People, they still don't want to use it for whatever reason. Here's Ethereum. Spiked up. Go to the 4-hour chart. The 8-hour chart is my favorite, but on Ethereum, the 8-hour time frame did not give me anything to work with. So what do? Is I go down into price and I find the next one. So here is simply taking out resistance to the upside with 4 2-hour closures, and then you take it out. You go right back below the resistance level with this bearish candle there. There is a supply zone there. Was retested simply on the very next session. But if you scroll over here to where price is currently, that's this level right there. You can see price hasn't traded up into that yet. So it's just 4-hour resistance that's holding things down right now. There is another 4-hour supply zone that was put in at the very top, the all-time high of Ethereum. 4-hour supply zone right there. Perfect test. Perfect test. Boom, boom. See ya. Nothing has ever closed above this. Once this was put in as supply, once it was verified as supply, and we know that it was verified as supply simply because these two candles right here traded straight up into the candle's body. So when I tell you guys to outline your supply and demand levels by using candle bodies, old school supply and demand traders, or the people that think they know supply and demand, they'll outline the whole entire candle's range, right? And you can see that if you did that, you still would have been able to get in a trade. But I do it this way because I want to be pinpoint pricked accuracy, right? A pinprick. I want it to be so sharp. That was almost a flawless entry. Like if you would have been able to put a sell limit there at that price with the spread, obviously, get your entry, that would have been the absolute best entry that you could have gotten on this downtrend. This is why I use candle bodies instead of wicks. So there it is. Boom, boom. And then it traded away. So since this supply zone was put in and verified as supply, Ethereum has not been able to close a 4-hour candle above 417977. That's important, right? Because if we do get a 4-hour closure above 4,179.77 over here where we currently are, then we know that it's strong, and then we also know that there's a pretty good chance that it's going to make new all-time highs. Now, if this area stifles price and it's never able to get back over there, when am I going to start to look to be bearish again on Ethereum? Well, if we take out this breakout, this entire breakout from here, this stretch up, if we take that out to the downside, then I will be looking for price to push up, and then I will probably exit some of my Ethereum holdings until we get another low. But if that doesn't occur, then I'm going to keep hanging on. This looks bullish. This does not look bearish. Make sure you understand that I'm not saying that I think this level is going to hold price. I do not. And I would not be sitting there waiting for or trying to take shorts at that level. Yes, it has not closed above it, but there's a very high likelihood right now that it's going to. So here's support. It came down and it found support since last night's live stream. You have had two big bullish candles. All right, that's strong. That's strong. Here's 4-hour resistance for the near term. There it is. There is your close above. So any push down into this bearish candle right here could potentially be an entry for a long right there if it pushes down into it. This isn't financial advice. So always, if you take a position based on what you hear me say and that position doesn't work out, I cannot be held liable for it, because I wouldn't take this entry. You are at almost all-time highs. As far as I'm concerned, the trade was down here, down in this area, right? Like where I took the position on Luna, that was the trade on Luna as well. Let's get to the daily. Down here, 1050, that was the trade, right? We had already taken out this resistance level. This was the main resistance level that we knew price needed to get back above. This was the capitulation wick to the downside on Bitcoin. But all crypto assets made this resistance level. All of them did. So that was the main resistance that we were. Now, the potential for it to go here is better than up here. So once we took out that resistance on a daily closing,